My name is David Sorensen. I'm a nature photographer, and I'm going to try to explain something to you about why evolution is not, how can I say that nice? It's not a valid theory, okay? We are all taught that evolution is the ultimate truth, that it has enlightened the minds of the Western world, that you cannot be a decent human being when you don't believe evolution. I'm telling you, evolution is, well, it's not as proven as everyone wants you to believe. I've investigated it for many years. I've read every single book I could get in my hands. I've listened to every teaching. I've watched all the documentaries. I've come to a simple conclusion. We're being fooled big time, big time, big time. We think that we believe reality while we in fact are living in a lie. Well, okay, this may make some people very angry right from the start. I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to try to explain why. It's not easy to explain these things because we are so pre-programmed, we are so indoctrinated, we are so brainwashed with the so-called facts that it's very difficult for us to even hear something else, you know? To even listen to something else. That's already almost impossible for many people. Like, shut up, you're insane, I'm not listening to you, and off they are. Well, I want to ask you, please be patient and please listen. I'm not saying nonsense, I'm saying simple realities. Well, I'm going to try to explain some things. When you look at nature, when you look at birds, when you look at animals, when you look at insects, when you look at flowers, what do you see? You see design. You see incredibly designed masterpieces of technology, masterpieces of art, of beauty, you know, human beings with all their intellect, with all their knowledge, with all their self-invented technology. We are not able to design things that even come near to what we see in nature. We have to be honest about that, okay? We can fool ourselves for a long time, but at a certain point we have to be honest and say, well, we can make a video camera, but we cannot make an eye that can grow. We cannot make an eye that can heal itself when it's damaged. The speed with which our eyes can focus, I mean, our best cameras can't even come near to that, okay? I mean, what has been designed in nature exceeds the technological level of our own human creations. And it's very important to be honest about that. And when we look at the beauty of a butterfly, for example, when we think about birds, when we think about flowers, I want to encourage you, take a good look at them. Just simply, basically look at them and allow them to speak to you. Allow that beauty, allow that creativity to speak to you. I mean, we don't need a lot of arguments. We just need to be honest. Simply, basically honest and look at them. Well, but of course there are a lot of scientific arguments. And one of the arguments I want to explain is this, that we all know, every engineer knows that something that functions efficiently can only be built by intelligence. Simple. The camera that I'm holding right now, the microphone that's on top of it, even the cable connecting both of them, it's there as a result of someone who was intelligent. He took the different parts, he put them together in the right place, and he designed something that works, you know. When we look at our hands, the way a hand works is amazing. Every finger has a different length. It's been so designed that our fingertips are very sensitive, you know, very sensitive. We can feel, we can caress, we can touch. We can know what is dangerous to touch and what's hot or what's cold, you know. At the same, our skin is pretty strong. And at the same time, it's tender and vulnerable enough to be able to discern danger and to love, you know, and to feel. Our hands are amazing. I can make a fist and just hit something really hard. And I can play musical instruments. The way our hand basically, simply has been designed is just, it's an extreme masterpiece, you know, how quickly the fingers can move, how accurately, how it works together with our brains, you know. Scientists are working hard, and they're using all their intelligence, all their technology, all their knowledge, all their experience to try to imitate a hand when they're making robots. They're trying to imitate skin that can bleed, that can feel, that can sense heat, that can heal itself, you know. Scientists are trying to copy what we see in nature, and they're using all their intellect, they're using all their wisdom, they're using everything they can. They're working with a whole team for ages and ages. They're building knowledge, they're, you know, and you have to be very smart, very clever. You need a high level of intellect to be able to design something that even comes near to the technological miracles in nature. So when we realize that something that operates, something that works, something that functions, it can only function well when all the parts are at the right place and in the same time. When I take one crucial element out of this camera, it won't work. When I remove the cable, I won't have any sound. When I break the glass, it will give a broken image. You know, just touch one thing inside with a needle, bam, broken, it doesn't work anymore. Even if it's only one little element. And I'm telling you this because when we look at nature, we have to realize that everything is fitted together in a way that is amazing. It's just amazing. Just to take away one crucial element, and the organism will not function properly anymore, or it will even die. And the reason I'm saying this is to make you aware of the fact that it's a very strange idea to say that the technological masterpieces in nature that are beyond our wildest dreams of as humans ever being able to create something like that. I mean, we'll never be able to make life. Never. We can make things work, but they will never be alive. I mean, life is something different than a battery that makes something move, you know, or operate. No, life is something completely different. And when we say that those masterpieces in nature have not been designed, then we have to be really honest to ourselves. Are we saying something that is rationally, reasonably, logically acceptable? Are we saying something that is true? Or are we just making an excuse? Are we just trying to fool ourselves because we simply do not want to think about a creator? I have no problem when I look at a painting to say, wow, what an artist. I have no problem when I drive a sports car to say, wow, those engineers, wow, amazing. I have no problem to enjoy my iPhone and say, I'm so thankful for Steve Jobs, you know, who was so clever to think of the things he thought of, you know, the inventions. I have no problem when I work on a software program that helps me improve my photographs, for example, or helps me design a graphic poster, to say, whoa, the guys who programmed this, they're amazing. But why do we have a problem to look at our hand, you know? Let's put it in light. Look at our hand that we use every day and say, well, it's amazing how it's been designed, but no, it's not been designed. No. It's just coincidence. It's you know, no, there's no intellect behind that. Or when we taste, you know, our mouth, ba. When we eat something, you know, when we taste, why have we got such a big problem to acknowledge? Well, I'm thankful that God designed me in such a way that I can taste ice cream, that I can taste fruit, that I can taste the good things of life, you know. Or why have we got such a big problem to acknowledge the reality of a creator when we look at the beauty of nature, when we know beauty and function never comes to existence without someone who puts the right elements together properly. And I want to encourage you to be honest. When you look at nature, when you look at the beauty, when you look at the functions, when you look at the high level of technology that you see, for example, in insects. When I look at insects, I see robots. I see amazing tiny robots. And I'm like, wow, you know, like a grasshopper, it can jump so far and so quickly. I want to encourage you to be honest when you look at nature. Just be honest. That's all I'm asking, just be honest. And when you see the beauty and see the technology, then just think for yourself. Can I truly say that all this has come into existence by chance, by coincidental mutations, by natural selection? You know, no wisdom, no design, no creativity, no one who thought about how a butterfly comes forth from a caterpillar, you know? What happens, to put it in these words, the software that had to be programmed to make such a transformation possible is amazing. The amount of information that is present in nature is incredible, you know? And I'll also tell you this, the amount of information that is present in even one living cell is so complex that it's beyond the complexity of our best computer programs. So why do we have a problem to acknowledge that complexity, that perfection has to be designed? Why do we have a problem with that? And I want to ask you, just think about this and look at the images I'm going to show now. Look at the beauty of nature and think for yourself. Is this coincidence? Has this come forth by errors in genetic codes called mutations that have been selected by natural selection? Or has this been designed by a creative person? Someone who loves to make beautiful things. Someone who loves to create life, you know? Just think about it.